Okay, just give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen. Hope I am audible as well. You could able to see my screen as well. So we are talking about the failure of the packings and also in the above ground pipe work, which remains isolated during the normal operations. And the thermal relief system should be provided to protect against the increasing ambient temperatures. This is what we are talking about, the expansion and also the contraction, the parameters we should consider while designing our pipeline network. Then underground pipelines. So if you see the petroleum products and crude oil, natural gases are some of the more the important products are transferred by the underground pipelines. We could see in our past, we have so many incidents in the East-West Godavari regarding the Gale oil pipeline leakage, etc. And the size may be anywhere up to 50 diameter and also pressure up to 1200 psi. The pipeline are laid for long distances, often across the national boundaries, and the booster stations are largely automatic stations, required very fail-safe devices. These are automatic stations. Nobody is there to operate by sitting there, knowing the pressure. Based on the system pressure, it will automatically activate. And the pipelines are usually buried, but the 1 meter under the must be protected against the corrosion, and leakage are likely to occur, and the pipelines have by checked by constantly. And the biggest danger is to a pipeline, someone outside the sources like unauthorized digging and also from the corrosion. These are the two major issues with these underground pipelines. If they do any unauthorized digging is not for the gas or not for the pipe, maybe unknowingly they are doing something. Maybe they're doing soil extraction, they're doing any sand extraction. So maybe during that time, accidentally, they interact with these pipelines. The pipeline should be given a special additional protection at the various points along the route as a road and river crossings. Generally, they may be placed at the greater depth and beneath the trees and ditches to allow the bridging or ditches deeping, and concrete production slabs may be placed above the pipes to warn anyone if they're doing any digging. And sometimes they do an excavation area if the ground is particularly stony or rocky filled. Sand may be poured to the cover the pipeline, or any special protection to wrap may be used. So in case of any rocky surfaces, there they can fill with the sand. And during construction of a pipeline, all the wells are visually examined, generally a percentage or a radiograph to ensure that there is no cracking or undue slag intrusion, and there may be a suitable fusion between the weld and also the parent metal. So proper fusion in the sense, proper joint from the pipe, and also the welding rod you are having, they should have proper metal contact. And the pipeline is wrapped to protect against the corrosion. Once it is buried, the wrapping is normally tested by the 15,000 volt pressure test to ensure there are no holes in it, and also additionally an impressed current cathodic protection system is superimposed to protect against the subsequent wrapping, damage to the stones, roots, etc. And then the pipeline control system should be capable of recognizing and also the measuring the leak conditions and initiating the appropriate action to shut down the system and also minimize the amount of product leaked. So we see these are the different kinds of color codes. So let us not going through this. So you can open IS 2379 as I mentioned in the previous slide. That is the great document. You could even you can verify your existing standards in your working area, or if you're a fresher, you can understand which kind of colors are used for the various types of chemical transfers. Then it is about the identification. As I told you, it is very important for the identification of pipelines to handle to handle the emergency cases. And if you see here, necessary to avoid any mistake in operating the valves or taking any connection, opening lines or repair the maintenance, etc. It comes in. So if you see the color bands are superimposed on the ground color. I think it is better to show you the standard right away. Just give me a minute. I'll open it and I'll reshare again. Okay. So that it is easy for me to explain as well. You can understand better. Like this. So it is an easy available standard. No need more search. You can put IS 2379. You will get immediately. Okay. I'm sharing my screen. Entire screen. Share. Yeah. Can anybody confirm? Are you able to see this IS standard, IS 2379, color code for identification of pipelines? Please say yes in chat box so that we can proceed. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Dilip. Yeah, this is the standard actually. It's just 17 page. Hardly, it will take half an hour to read this standard. So once you go there, you will see all the definitions, what is the color band, what is meant by ground color. The ground color is the basic color of the pipeline. For example, brown they use for the, as I mean, black they use for the drainages, green they use for the water. So in the green also they have multiple greens, pale green, dark green, etc. And yellow they use for the corrosives, if I am not wrong, and brown they use for the flammable materials, mostly for the diesel and other kind of products. So if you see a ground color means the total color of the full section of the pipeline. What is meant by ground color? It is applied on the full section, means the total pipeline color. Okay. This is other way of doing it. So wherever you have joints or wherever you have crossing your pipeline in the one building to other building or any uh, curves to understand. So this is the substance, in the sense the material you are transferring through the pipeline. I don't know whether you are able to see it. For me itself, it is a bit blurry. So water sea green, steam aluminum, and acids dark violet, air sky blue, gases canny yellow, alkalis smoke gray, and other substances black, and hydrocarbons dark adimetry gray. So these are the colors. This is a color band. Color band is a portion where you superimpose on ground color. What does it mean by superimpose? Superimpose in the sense, over the ground color, you will put one more layer. In the sense, you just paint one portion on the ground color that is superimposed, that will be called as a color band. So for example, one substance is having the same properties, which will comes under this brown color. So to differentiate the material which is flowing inside, we use this color band, so that if two colors are, I mean, and one more pipeline is there with the same color, it will carries other color band, so that I can differentiate from other chemical. The same way it will have color bands in ground color. Okay, with the dimensions they have given. The color bands and ground color with a fluid carried or a freon. So maybe sometimes we use for multiple this thing. We can use these bands. So these are the, I mean, I think this is the detailed one, the table 2, where you could see choline, sea green. The color band is French blue, boiler feed sea green, Gulf red, condensate water sea green with light brown, drinking water sea green, French blue, treated water sea green with a light orange. So if it is a drinking, it is a single red, other color. Okay, you can see what is single red or second band. You will get an idea. So most of the chemicals they have covered here, and even for the hazardous marking also, you can take these references. You can see how they have done it. Okay. Now I'm going back to the presentation. Yeah. So if you see about the color bands superimposed on the ground color, the minimum color will be 25 centimeters, and also the width ratio of the first band to second band is 4:1 size in lettering. Then if you see the outer dia of the pipeline and also letter size, if the OD, the outer dia of the pipeline, I think most of the people knows this, what is OD and ID. This is called OD. This is called ID. In between the pipeline, we'll call as ID. You are considering your pipe thickness also. This one, the outer is called OD. Okay, this is outer dia. Okay, fine. So based on your pipe size, your letters will change. 80 to 150, it is 40, etc. Based on the size of the pipeline, you have to increase the size of the letter so that it is easy for the people to read. Then precautions in breaking a pipeline. So while breaking a pipeline, why we break the pipeline? Breaking in the sense not damaging opening of a pipeline. So prepare a work permit and tag your joint to the portion to the break-in to be broken, or close the block, and also isolation the valves to stop the flow into the line to be opened and isolate the area. So before opening, we have to take a permit, then shut off the valves which supplying the chemical to that specific piece of pipe. Then stop the pump and motor if it is connected, remove the fuse so that the motor cannot be restarted. So this is how our LOTO comes in, lockout, tagout. Drain, vent, and also cool the line completely. See, the pressure is 0 and also the pipe is cool. If it is in a hot line, so make sure that everything is taken out or drained out. Then ensure that it is removed and also the pipe gets cooled. And wear PPEs and hand gloves, face shield, apron, respirator, etc. And depending on the chemical, and keep the fire extinguishers ready. And support the line on both the sides of joint. And if it can be hold it by the lifting machine. And flange nuts and bolts should be opened slowly. A temperature flange guard should be put so as to protect from the splashes or draining. And first, the fastest nut bolt should be loosened so that the splash, if any, may not be come towards the body. So in the sense, first nut should be opened outer side. For example, if you sit, this is the pipeline, and here we have a flange, and here we have the nuts. So a person is doing a repair from here. So don't think the flange is bigger than a person. So if you are doing from seeing the flange from this direction, first you should open the ones which are opposite to you. So that what will happen, in case of any leakage happens, it will go this way. So it will not fall on you. Okay, you should always open the opposite side of you sitting. Again, that should be open. Also, separate flanges and metal wedges may be used if necessary. And the final bolt will be opened only after the completion of the dripping, and spark should be avoided. So after opening all, once you have to open the final one after the dipping in the sense the leakage, drop by drop, the chemical which is leaking, you have to open the last one. Okay. Just a second, please. Okay. And after removing the choking of any scrubbing or digging or drilling, and the removed section of the pipeline valve, etc., should be decontaminated by the water or air or purging inert gas based on the compatibility. If this is not possible, it should be tagged it warning or indicating the contaminant. So this is also one activity we have to do once we have removed the pipeline. And use suitable platform. Use a suitable platform, and working by sitting or other pipelines, ladders or structures is risky. So we don't know the condition of the pipeline. We are not supposed to sit on other pipelines. But practically, I don't know how feasible it is. But still, we should try not to sit on pipelines. And the safety shower, running water hose and fire extinguisher and absorbent, etc., should be kept ready for the use, and more precautions should be taken while opening the dead line or pipeline whose content is not known. So if the content is not known, you should be more cautious so that we can take the proper precautions. And direct cutting of the hexa or gas flame without knowing the content is hazardous, and the flammable, corrosive or toxic content must be always be removed first. So we should not use any axa blade or other cutting tools to cut the line directly without knowing. It is very risky to do that. An implant transfer from the storage at the production place, chemicals are transferred or transported to the user place or any other another storage place. It may be from one place to other site, a place or which the factory premises, and the chemicals are transferred in the solid, liquid, or gaseous form. Solids are transferred in the lumps or powder form, and maybe generated dust for which compression or extraction system is necessary. Then liquids transferred by the gravity or pumping, like I've seen by using the pipelines in air or inert gas pressure, the splashes from the vessels, pipes or joints, and the pumps, glands or valves or cracks are possible to control. A flow rate and safety showers, absorbents, which we use for the to control the leakage or to contain the spill. And the PPEs become very necessary when we are handling any such kind of spills. The gases can be leaked through the cylinders and the valves, pipes and joints, the vessels gauges, flow rate control, scrubber, condenser, venting, and also safe discharge are very essential. Okay, through pipelines. Most of them have system in storage tank, like as mentioned in the previous example, liquids even material which can be easily melted. The liquids are pumped through measuring tanks and where they are charged to the reactors. Then the safe practice is the pump to the measuring tank and also overall flow line returning to the tank are very necessary. And the pipeline can be various materials depending upon the nature of the chemicals and the handled steel, stainless steel or any polythene or propylene, PVC, gas lined or any other kind of materials. Then for the identification, it is IS 2379 and pipelines of carrying LPG for and also flammable metal should be properly bonded and earthed. The isolation wall should be provided for easy control in the case of any breakage or maintenance. Then other way of transferring is drums. While handling the liquids from the drums, the material can be emptied by sucking into a measuring vessel. 1 second. Then pumping out using a small pump that cannot be into the dung operating or by a gear pump, and air pressure should not be used more so with a toxic or and transfer by vacuum or using necessary PPs is the best procedure. And solids can be discharged into the reactors by drum titters or emptied into onto a specially designed screw conveyor. A cut drum should not be invariably used, and they can cause plenty of accidents as the workers are not careful to hammer down the sharp edges, particularly using drums must be covered with a special protection, should be taken to preserve the chemical and also the product identification. Sometimes the solid discharge may be choked. We are not supposed to dig, and empty drums are not really empty if they have been used for solvents or unless especially cleaned. We have to use, we should not consider that empty drum is empty. So we have to clean it properly to do any activity on that. Dangerous chemicals like diethyl sulfate or benzoyl chloride, etc., are required for elaborate cleaning to really wash off the traces of the harmful ingredients. And naked carboys and glass bottles should be never transported, and they should be transported in a wooden crates, cases, or properly closed and also handled with avoid damages to the containers, carboys and the glass bottles. Then plastic carboys are very easy to handle and also study. The sprouts are usually provided to prevent the spillage. Then conveyor belts are frequently employed for handling of large quantities of chemicals when dealing with organic powders, or steps should be taken to see the static charges in the not generated. So the conveyors mostly used for the fertilizer industries, where to transfer large quantities of solid materials. And pneumatic conveyors are increasingly used for transportation one place to another place within the plant. Then gas cylinders should be handled with the right type of the titans and also trolley, and certainly not thrown down, and they should be protected against the heat or impact. When kept vertical, they should be clamped or tied to prevent the fall. Then in the transportation by road, we'll see what are the various ways we transport. We do transportation by road, rail, water, and air. The containers are mostly standardized to ensure the safety during the transit. And when trucks and tankers meet the accident in the leakage on the way, it creates a problem. A fire or explosion can cause harm to a public as well as property. If it is in a corrosive or toxic chemical, it can cause harm to a public and also animals, birds, and environment. Sometimes a grave emergency also can happen. The warning to a public speedy rescue operations, evacuation, and calling helping hands may be become necessary, especially with the road tankers. If it is happened inside a city like Hyderabad, if you incident happens somewhere in the middle of the city, any corrosive chemical tanker met with an accident, we can't imagine how it will impact the city. While considering the transportation of chemicals, has also to consider the physical and the chemical properties of the product being handled, whether it is a solid or powder or liquid or gases or pressure type, and packing and also hazards and also mode of transportation is available. Now, mode of packaging, we see a glass bottle or carboys of some of the oldest packaging available. Still, you can see some of the chemicals, especially for the QC and R&D. We used to get the bottles in 2 liter or 3 liter glass bottles available for the corrosive liquids and solvents. Some of the bulk industrial materials still being transported in bottles or bromine, mercury, etc. And the laboratory reagents and also pure grade chemicals are also transferred in glass bottle and various sizes. You can see many of corrosive chemicals like nitric acid and sulfuric acid, trilene chloride, etc. are transported in glass carboys, in the sense of bottles, and holding 25 to 30 kg of the material. And the glass bottles and the carboys have to be protected against the shock, and also wooden crates for the carboys and plastic or proper packing for the bottles is usual. And dangerous chemicals are further protected by the packing in a clay or other absorbent materials, so that in case of any bottle breaks also, the chemical is absorbed by the causes least by damage, we can reduce. And plastic bottles and jars and the carboys, and these could constructed out of the polythene, either of a low density or high density PVC and other materials, quite lots of chemicals, and ranging from a laboratory chemical into industrial raw materials being packed and also transported in plastic containers. And these containers may be further protected by the wooden cases, and the material must be correctly chosen. And several tragedies means the severe accidents have occurred because of a long storage, and the plastic container become brittle, and also the chemical leaked out. So if you are not using or the chemical, or if you are kept the barrel or plastic container in the outside or somewhere, it happens over a period of time, because of the outside nature, the bottle become nature, and even chemical also slowly gets react with this plastic, it may get leak. Then steel drums in various sizes have been used for the storage and transportation of solvents and chemicals, even corrosive chemicals like chlorosulfuric acid are shipped in the steel containers. This is quite common packaging for the chemicals for all description, and quite economical too. And recently, polyethylene and PVC lines, as well as polyethylene lined drums have been used at variable. The end of these used for packing, and the highly corrosive chemicals like hydrochloric acid, and the proper sealing of the drums is essential. And bags of various types like jute bags and paper bags are used for inconscious chemicals like soda ash and salt. And the lined jute bags, polythene lined jute bags have been used for the materials which is need to be protected against the moisture. And woven high density polythene bags are used for the packing of corrosive and other material sensitive materials like caustic soda and plastic potash. Obviously, this packing cannot stand precising, and also must be well protected, and also handled. Such bags are not damaged in transport, and also the bags must properly stacked and also secured. That's why these bags again wrapped with the polythene cover to avoid the damage of the bags. So they can't more protect, but somehow they will give protection to avoid the direct interact with the bags. Then gases under pressure and cylinders. This is other way of transportation. Quite of a few gases like chlorine, sulfur dioxide, ammonia, ethylene oxide, oxygen, etc. are sold in the cylinders, containing quantities of ranging from 50 to 100 kgs. Steel cylinders are the commonest, and also the best. Various kinds of lining are also given for the special products. And the rules governing for the design, testing, and following of the cylinders are quite elaborate and must be followed. And tankers for bulk transport and the chemicals are very common. particularly for petroleum products, solvents, acids, and alkali solutions. And tanks can be made various materials for the construction, such as steel, stainless steel, rubber lined FRP, and also FRP lined, and lead lined or other special construction. And the tanker should be various sizes, which is holding from 5 to 10 tons for a road transport and 20 to 50 tons or more for the rail transport. Nowadays, along tanker trailers have been used to carry more weight. So the tanker should be properly designed or also fabricated to meet the service conditions, and contamination should be avoided, as it could be dangerous for the product as well as the tanker. And good arrangement for the receiving the chemicals as well as discharging should be provided. Vent valves and also arrangements to prevent the static electricity built up when handling solvent or must. The gases under pressure, such as liquid gases, chlorine, etc., are also transported by the tankers. And then FFP and also PP should be carried out with the vehicles, fire protection suits, and fire extinguishers, firefighting extinguishers, and the safety rules should be followed. So along with this, tankers will carry a trump card also, which is makes us to understand what kind of emergencies can happen and what to be done in case of such kind of emergency. Like in case of spill, what to be done, in case of any fire action happens, what to be done, etc. Now, other ways, rail transportation, it is it accounts for a quite large proportion of the chemical transportation. And the greatest hazard in the mode of transportation is that because of far flug operations, it is not possible to train everyone connected with the operation in proper care to be taken, and proper labeling of the hazards involved in the help of brilliant and also accidents. And the preventive measures like improved design and also tanker of the couplers, limitations on the size of the tanker, and positioning of the hazardous chemicals away from the locomotives, and avoiding hunching together of hazardous chemicals, and proper labeling of the content and also hazardous nature of the chemicals. All these things has to be checked. And a serious risk is that an accident may occur at the place which is not easily accessible, and where the component, the guidance may not be available in the USA. And DNA organization has been set up a deal with such cases. And transportation explosives by the rail. So there they have to follow the railway red traffic rules 62 to 74. And no explosives other than safety fuses and fireworks shall transport by the rail except in the van specially constructed for the carriage of explosives. So for carrying such kind of explosives, they have a special carriage. In that only we are supposed to transfer the chemical. No other way of, or we should not allow to transfer in any other carriage. Even it is a fireworks also, like how we use the crackers for Diwali and all. Okay, and the label for explosives for each side of the carriage, and carriage containing explosives shall be kept away from the engine other than the electric locomotive, and also close coupled adjoining a carriage not loaded with an explosives or other flammable hazardous substances. And not more than 10 carriages containing explosives shall be attached to any one train. So more than 10 carriages, it is not supposed to be allowed. And not more than 5 carriages of explosives shall be loaded in or unloaded at any one time at the any one railway station. So if you have 10 carriages, you should not unload more than 5 in one station. And no explosives shall be transported by any passenger or mixed train. So we are not allowed to transport any explosives with a mixed train of the passengers. Then safety fuses for blasting explosives of the third class nitro components in the form of cartridges and also not exceeding 2.5 kg in weight, and detonators up to 200 in each weight up to 225 grams, and the sporting powder and propellants in a double packing as prescribed can be transported by the passengers or mixed trains. Then explosive consignment shall be received at the specified railway premises only during the sunrise and sunset and by any authorized railway servant only. And shutting of carriages containing explosives shall be carried out under the supervision of authorized